wanted to find a way to make more money than my 9 to 5. This has given me that path. Part-time, I do about like 5 to 6 deals a month. If you want to consistently have income every month so you can pay your mortgage, pay your child's daycare, pay your car note, rentals are the way to do it. One of the things you also teach is turning renters into buyers. And I got 2 sales because of that.
So what's your profit after 4 months?
So that would be 39,000 or so. We made $3,000 for like a quarter of a day's work. It's like, what? Back in my job, I would make a bonus like twice a year. For 3 hours of work, you get the same amount for 6 months. It's kind of crazy. It's just a cheaper way to find people than it is to find buyers and sellers. That's just, you have to spend so much time with like mailers and cold calling. It's a lot of money. So with this route, you can actually do things a lot cheaper.
If you're feeling stuck in your 9 to 5 job, I got the most incredible story that you have to hear. I'm here with Sam Joseph. He was working a 9 to 5 job. He was making about $120,000 per year. He wanted room to scale and grow. He knew working this job was a dead end, even though he kind of liked it. Fast forward 3 months after signing up for Richard Rentals and doing real estate part-time, my rental system, he's now making more money than his full-time job that he was there for 5 whole years, just in 3 short months. He's now making over $7,000 per month doing real estate part-time. Sam, I want to hear your story from your perspective.
Absolutely. So I started when I met you on Instagram, actually, which is kind of funny. Stuck into your DMs, as I guess they say. So we started talking about, how their strategy was working. I saw you doing very well with it. I know in the past, a lot of people, a lot of brokers and agents, they're like, stay away from rentals. They're not something you want to do. It's like, you're not going to make any money doing it. They're rough to handle. I was like, well, this guy says he's doing it in Florida. So I was like, let me give it a try here in Texas. So after doing that, I started off rough. Didn't know what I was doing. I was trying to meet people at places. They said they're going to show up. It never showed up. I had no systems in place. The first time the start was kind of a struggle, but after doing the systems in place, I learned from you. I was able to kind of filter out the people I wanted to work with and get further with the process. And it kind of helped me scale the business a lot more to where I'm at right now.
I believe you signed up right around November
Mhm.
2024, and it's been like 3 or 4 months or so. So
Mhm.
since November, how much have you made? How many deals have you closed, doing this part-time?
Part-time, I do about like 5 to 6 deals a month. Some of them are apartments, some are my listings, some are other people's listings. So it kind of just depends. I kind of do a mix or like a potpourri, if you will say, of all the different ones. Whatever I need to make more of in a certain month, I'll kind of like leverage it that way. When I get listings, those are great because I charge a higher commission for those. When it's someone else's listing, it's good too because I meet somebody who I can potentially turn down the road into a buyer, which I have done in the past, which is also really helpful. Yeah, it's been pretty good. About 7 grand a month's my average right now for the winter months, which is the slowest time in Austin. So during the summer, it will go up. We also just have a newborn boy. He's 8 weeks old. So hanging out with him is also a lot of time, which is what we love. So working my full-time jobs a lot of time. So balancing it all can be tough. So once I, go full time next month, I can definitely have more time to spend with him and more time to grow the business.
Oh, no, I mean this is incredible. A lot to talk about here. So, all right, first thing I want to talk about is you were on a path to leave your full-time job and go into real estate,
Mhm.
but you were only doing it part-time. So I know your goal was to make more money in real estate, or at least the same amount of money, then leave your full-time job, then do real estate full-time. So having done this, really consistently for 3 or 4 months now, I want to talk about how much time you have to spend on doing
Mhm.
real estate now. Because if you think about it, if you're making
Mhm.
almost $7,000 every single month doing this part time in the slowest season in Austin, Texas, plus
Mhm.
having a newborn baby, plus having a full 8 hour a day job, how much
Mhm.
time are you actually spending on real estate every day?
Mostly it's after work, or sometimes during lunchtime. I'll sneak out if it's close to my house and do a little showing around that time as well too. And then also in the mornings before work, I'll make sure I post some properties on Marketplace and stuff like that. But I'd say probably like 20 to 25 hours is what I'm at right now. My Saturdays are busy, but other than that, it's like after work.
Wow. Okay. So you're putting in about 20 hours, which is about what, 3 hours a day,
Hmm.
give or take. 3 hours a day to make
Hmm.
more money than a full 9 to 5, 40-hour a week. And I know you mentioned before we were
Yeah.
chatting, sometimes you work more in your
Hmm.
normal job. And I think that was one of the reasons why you wanted to get out of that job because you've
Hmm.
been there for 5 years making the same paycheck basically
Hmm.
every year over and over. There was no room to grow at all. You wanted more. And yeah, that's what happened to me. I started doing a call center job before I got into real estate. And
Hmm.
I was like, this is BS. I don't want to be sitting in an office for 8 hours every single day. And I don't have any room to actually grow my own business. That's when I got into real estate. And fast forward 3 years later, I'm making $500,000 per year consistently. And I've been so ever since then, which is absolutely wild by doing rentals. That's the crazy part. I don't even think we really mentioned this yet, but
Hmm.
this whole strategy that I teach is based on rentals. Did you ever think when you got your real estate license, a few years ago, that you would ever be a rental agent hearing everything you heard from all your brokers and team leaders saying to stay away from rentals?
I knew it was the only way though. I knew that because like to make this whole business work for you, you have to make consistent income. Because if you're not making consistent income, you're out of business. If you're waiting for months or years, like last year, only 71% of agents had a sale or a transaction of any kind. So if you're part of that 71%, how are you going to live? How are you going to pay your mortgage? How are you going to pay your car? You can't do it. So I saw it as a vision after seeing what you were putting out there on Instagram. I was like, this is the way to do this and make it actually sustainable.
It's actually 71% of realtors did zero deals last year,
Hmm.
which is shocking. I think it was something like 50%, 54% did one deal.
One.
It's absolutely, and only 1.7% did over or 10 deals or more. So a very small portion of the realtors out there are doing the majority of the deals. And you got to imagine if there's only 4.5 million houses that are being sold and bought every single year, there's 45 million rentals happening every year. It doesn't make sense to me if you're a real estate agent in 2025 and you have a 10-to-1 ratio of renters to buyers. Why on earth would you focus on anything else? And you found that out kind of the easy way too, because a lot of realtors, I talk to thousands of realtors a
Hmm.
year. A lot of these realtors, they've been brainwashed to just focus on buyers and sellers only. That's it. And they avoid the rentals. And I know that you're in Austin, Texas. So even doing this part time in Austin, Texas, let's break down because you said you're making about 7,000 per month. So how many deals are you doing? What's the commission structure like?
Yeah, so in Austin, it's a little different. For rentals, if you're the tenant's agent, you're making about 30% of the first month's rent for house rentals. Sometimes people do a little bit less, sometimes people do a little bit more. It just depends. For apartments, you're making a lot more. It's usually first month's rent, kind of similar to how your market is at the higher price point. So that's kind of how it works for those. If you're on the landlord side, it's a little bit higher. That's like 70%. If you have a tenant, if someone brings a tenant, usually I find the tenants myself, so I get the whole commission. So it'd be like 100%, which is if you stack those up, it's a lot of money.
It adds up because you're doing volume. You're doing so what? You're
Hmm.
doing like 5, 6, 7 deals per month, give or
Hmm.
take,
Yep,
or
pretty
probably.
much. Average commission of 1,500
Okay, average
on the.
commission is 1,500 because you're also getting rental listings, which is what I
Hmm.
teach. So
Hmm.
I know I teach how to get rental listings, how to work with MLS properties,
Hmm.
your townhomes, your single families, duplexes,
Hmm.
and apartment complexes. I do all
Yeah.
three because I believe in real estate. If you're focusing on one niche, and this is the rental niche that I'm teaching, and you're doing, I'm doing, everybody else
Yeah.
is doing that. That's in the system. It really works because the riches are in the niches. But
It's
even
true.
if you're doing, let's say, for rent by owner rental listing calls, and you're doing some advertising on Marketplace for apartment complexes, and maybe you're posting some properties on other platforms to get rental leads for MLS properties, that's still the rental niche. And
Hmm.
you're proving right now with just a few hours a day that you're making, what is that? Almost that's a you're on track to make 120 grand in your first full year doing this part time, which is honestly mind blowing because think about it. How much do you think you're going to make when you switch full time? And are you switching full time?
Yes, I am. Next month, I'm going full time. Going to start doing this whole thing. It'll be great because it'll be springtime, which is when the market here really takes off. in the summer months, you can probably make about 12 to 15K if you do it right, which is a great time to do it. So that's a big boost. Plus, one of the things you also teach is turning renters into buyers. So last year, I was able to actually do that, and I got two sales because of that. So that actually helped me a lot because a lot of people don't have any transactions, but because I was doing every sale I've had or person who bought a home I have is from renting a house because that's where they all started. They were about to rent and then they actually ended up becoming buyers and they sell their old house. And then that's kind of how it doubles the business even more.
Wow, wow. I mean, yeah, you're literally putting into practice everything I teach, everything I
Mhm.
say, and it's really refreshing to hear that because that is a big part of working with renters. Yes, you're still making,
Mhm.
like you said before, $1,500 average commission per rental deal, even though you're only getting paid 30%. You're not even getting a full half a month, which, in some counties, in some areas, you're going to get half a month. Some places you're going to get $300, some
Mhm.
500, but you've figured out that it's the law of averages. So
Mhm.
some properties you're going to make a little bit more because you're getting rental
Mhm.
listings. You'll get a full month. You might make $3,000 on a rental listing because you're getting both sides if you find the tenant. Because I teach you also how to
Mhm.
find the tenant. And then
Yep.
if you're doing a smaller transaction where you're getting the leads from the rental listing, I'll show you, obviously what to do with those tenant leads. Then maybe you only make, let's say, 500, because I'm assuming you've probably only made like $500 for a rental deal. Is that accurate?
They're usually like six, 700. They've gone down, and rental prices have come down a little bit actually. So now they're more averaging 600. So pretty close to 500.
So, okay, so yeah, so 500-600 bucks
Hmm.
commission for a rental property. Now, for a
Hmm.
lot of agents out there, they're thinking in their heads that
Hmm.
500 or 600 bucks is nothing.
Nothing.
They're like, why on earth would I put in any effort to make $500? But they're not realizing to do a rental deal, right? I'm gonna ask you this, okay? Because
Hmm.
I know my number and I know what I help people try to reach. How many hours on a successfully closed rental deal, after you've learned it a little bit, it's been a few
Hmm.
months now, how many hours do you actually spend on a successfully closed rental deal?
Let's see. Initial call with the person, probably 10, 15 minutes. Setting up on the MLS, another 10, 15 minutes at most. Then
Yeah, maybe 2 minutes.
it's very quick. It's
Yeah,
quick.
yeah,
I'd say five. That's being very
yeah,
generous for
yeah,
like the
that's pushing it. Yeah.
non-tech folks. I'm a software engineer, so the non-tech folks, I'll give them that extra time. So I would say then you have to drive there, and then the showing itself, probably like 2, 3 hours per person.
2 or 3 hours per person max to
Yeah.
do a rental deal. So even if you're only making 500 bucks, you're still making 100, 200, two hundred
Hmm.
and fifty dollars per hour. And we're not even including any transaction fees because I know you charge an admin fee.
Hmm.
I think you mentioned before, how much do you charge for your admin fee?
150 for my admin fee.
150, which you're going to slowly build up, because
Hmm.
I always tell everybody I charge 300 bucks, but I started with $100. I started with
Hmm.
100, gained some confidence, got some experience. Now that I can provide more value to people, I feel like I'm worth a little bit more. So, in the coming months, I know you'll be able to increase that a little bit, to 300 bucks as you get even better. And then you'll drop your time spent on every person too, which is really cool from an agent's perspective because you're going to be helping more people more efficiently and you're going to be rewarded for it, which is incredible. So with the 500 plus the 150, that's about 650, 700 bucks that you're making per rental deal on the low side. And
Yeah.
that's across the entire country as well. There are some areas that are only making three, four, 500 bucks per rental, but you've just proven even doing this part time, you can still make over $100,000 per year. Is that accurate? Did I say anything
Nope,
wrong there?
that's completely right. So that's completely right. That's what I was able to do. So I think it's definitely something that people, if they want to get into real estate and actually stay in the business, because remember the fail rate for realtors is what, 89% the first 2 years. So you have to make money to run a business, unless you're the US government, but you have to make money to run the business. It's the only way to actually stay in business. So that's how you can do it. You can actually, this small 500, $600 transactions, they add up and they build your relationships too. Because I'm not from Austin, I'm not from Texas, but I moved here and didn't know anyone. And I know a lot of people now from doing this and who are all in my database. And they're going to eventually, some of them are going to turn into buyers down the road and they'll turn into sellers down the road. So this is how I grow my network here and my sphere of influence. So hopefully in 5 years, I'll just have people coming to me every month. I won't have to do anything.
100%. Because, like you said before, you've already turned two active
Hmm.
renters into buyers already.
Hmm.
Oh, not waiting a year, not waiting 2 years, not even getting them into a rental property.
Yep.
You converted them because that's what I teach agents out there to turn active renters into buyers at a very small percentage. We're not
Hmm.
talking, anything
Yeah.
huge here, but it still amounts to one. You're doing it part time. So if you've been doing it about 4 months or so, you've gotten two. So you're doing one. That's exactly in line with the odds and statistics that I see that I've experienced. If you do about 5 rentals per month, you'll get a buyer every 2 months. If you're doing
Hmm.
10 rentals per month, then you're going to get a buyer every month, sometimes two buyers. And that's exactly what's happening with you right now. So
Hmm.
as you go full time, expect to start turning more renters into buyers now. You're going to get at least, I swear to God, one per. I'll interview you again once you
Yeah.
go full time in March.
Yeah.
Guarantee it. You're going to be like, Andy, I'm converting at least one renter into a buyer every month right now, which is going
Yep.
to add an extra $10,000 per month to the 7,000 you're already making.
Hmm.
Then got to imagine this, right? What you said before is 100% correct. If you do a lot of rentals over the next year or two, and you do my 369 system, my constant contact system, the birthdays, the emails, staying top of mind, if you
Hmm.
complete that system, you'll be able to turn 30% of your closed renters into buyers. That's when the percentages get monstrous. Think about that. If you do, let's just say small numbers here. Let's just say you do 300 rentals over the next 2 years. And I
Hmm.
honestly think you could do a lot more than that. But 300 rentals and you convert 30% into closed buyers, right? At that moment, when the market switches to a heavy buyers market, which it will, that's
Will.
that's 90 buyers per year that you're going to start closing. Dude, that's almost $1 million in commission every single year.
It's
If you
crazy.
want, never have to do another renter or rental ever again in your life if you don't want to. But me, 5 years into this, I'm doing everything. I'm working with the
Yeah.
renters, the buyers, the sellers. I don't care. I like helping people.
Mm.
Tell me then, because you've helped, oof, geez, you've helped dozens of people at this point find a home. How does that make you feel?
It's great. Like, I helped someone who like was in a bad situation a few weeks ago. They couldn't move. They had to leave. They were in a fight with their partner and they needed a new place to go. And like they were going to be on the street if I didn't find a place for them. So it's like working with renters, I feel like gives you a more of like a value mission you're actually working towards. You're helping people who really need your help and they need a place really quickly. So you're the person who swoops in and then gets in that place that they need, that they can feel safe in, that they can feel comfortable in. That's a good price for them. And people say, why do you need an agent for rentals or Zillow? Zillow, it's hard to reach these people sometimes to get in to see the places, and it's also hard to know how much you should pay. So if someone wants to pay the best price, it's great to work with an agent.
That's right. And you probably do a similar strategy where I don't know if you guys use Rent Spree,
Hmm.
where you are, but you can just copy and paste one application for a tenant as opposed to that tenant trying to work with like 4 or 5 agents doing, 4 or 5 applications, spending $1,000. You can just do one application, show them as many places as they actually like. And I do obviously show you because you're not, going and showing 10 properties anymore. I'm sure you were in the very, very beginning of your career, before you really met me. Because I know you used to watch some of my YouTube videos and you were, testing it out. But nowadays, I know you're only doing, one, two showings per person now because you've gotten it down. You've figured out, what I know and what I'm showing everybody. So nowadays, you don't have to worry about that anymore. And you can convince the tenants to work with you because honestly, it's in their best interest. If they work with you, you're going to provide a way better service. It's going to be way more efficient. They're going to save time, they're going to save money, and they're going to get a better price on a place that they actually want, which I personally think that should be the job of every realtor. We should be out there serving the community. And I'll tell you this, when you're helping people, you get rewarded for it. We
You
cash
do.
commission checks, we get paid.
Mhm.
So even thinking about it, because we didn't actually talk about this, over the past, it's been like 3, 4 months or so since you joined Richard Rentals. How much have you made so far, including all the rental deals, including all the sales that you've done, if you had to just guess really quick, how much do you think you made in the past 3 or 4 months?
The sales were about 6,000 or 6,600 is a small house that they had to sell. And then they moved into a new construction house, which is great here in Austin because they pay pretty large commissions. That was 15,000 hour check. So that was 21,600 plus the 21,000 for the rental. So about $41,000,
So
42.
you've made about $42,000 in
Mm-hmm.
the last 3 or 4 months working my rental system part-time.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm working with some more buyers now I met at my listing a few weeks ago. They work at some software company here in Austin. So they're looking to potentially buy now instead of rent. They're thinking about what they should do because they have a good amount of savings set aside.
I do it all the time on the weekly coaching calls where we even do role playing of turning a renter into buyers.
Mhm.
I know you'll be able to convince them to buy a home if it makes financial sense for them. You know, we're not trying to talk anybody into doing something they don't want to
No,
do. But if it
definitely
makes
not.
sense, they're going to buy a home with you instead of renting a home. That's the beauty of this because it's a volume game. So
Mhm.
speaking about that, how many leads do you think you're getting every week? How many leads do you think you're bringing in?
I'd say it's usually at least like 7 a day, 7 to 10 a day. I also run some paid ads too. I use that more advanced strategies that you talk about. So that helps me get a lot more than that even. But just organic, I'd say like 7 to 10. And then the paid ones bring a lot more.
How many more for the paid ones?
Um, Depends how much I spend on the ad. So if I usually do like a cheaper ad spend of like say $5 a day on like marketplace, that usually brings me another 5 to 10. Of
Wow.
those leads, I'd say one or two is pretty good.
Wow. Okay. So spending about $5 a day, you're getting an extra 10 leads plus 10 for free, right? Is that right?
Hmm. Yep.
So
Seven,
about
10 for free. Hmm.
7 to 10 for free, and you're doing it part-time. So
Yep.
I'm sure you don't probably have that many listings up, if I would have to imagine.
I've only got like 16. I took down a couple the other day, so I'm like 14 right now. Yeah.
It's insane.
Hmm.
Wow, wow, wow. When I'm telling, wow, wow. Once once
I
you
can't put any
start
more.
doing
I
this,
don't have time.
oh wow. No, I know that's
I wish
dude,
I wish I could. I just don't have the
dude,
time.
that's incredible. Once in March, when you do this full time, and you could have 100 listings up there, you're going
Hmm.
to be getting 50 to 100 leads per day.
Yeah. It'd be much more volume coming through, which is gonna be great.
For the agents out there, that are listening to this right now, if you're struggling to get leads, Sam, what is the best way to get leads in real estate right now in 2025?
Definitely do rentals. That's the best way to do it. Put them on marketplace and try to get some people there.
Do you think thinking about the market, knowing the houses that are being sold right now, knowing how many people are renting, knowing that we have the lowest mortgage loan applications since the 2008 crash, do you
Hmm.
think it makes sense for a new agent or honestly, even an experienced agent to be working primarily with buyers and sellers?
I don't think so. How are you going to live? How are you going to get sales? It's you can do it, of course, and home sell every day, of course, and buyers buy every day. But if you want to consistently have income every month, so you can pay your mortgage, pay your child's daycare, pay your car note, rentals are the way to do it.
Think about this that I just talked to an agent yesterday, last night actually,
Hmm.
and she was struggling, but she didn't know why she was struggling. She was making about 80,000 a year in commission from doing real estate, and she was working with buyers primarily. She joined a team. She joined a coaching program where she's spending like 2 grand a month, which is crazy. And it made me think, I'm not charging enough because I'm not
Charging
even
too little.
close to that. And we were going through her numbers because she came to me and she's like, Andy, she's like, I don't have that much money, but I'm selling 8, 9 homes, per year. I'm in this coaching program. I'm spending a lot of money. And I was like, what do you mean? And she was like, it's getting hard for me to pay my bills. And I'm like, oh, how much you making? She's like, $80,000. And she broke it down. She in their coaching program, she's spending $2,000, which is mind-boggling to me, because I don't do that
Yeah.
whatsoever.
No.
But then she broke down her expenses because I guess she was taught that she has to spend, 2 or 3 grand in ads. Because if you're going after buyers, it's not $5 a day. You're blessed to be
Way
spending
more.
that amount of money. She's spending 2 or 3 grand a month in ad spend to go after buyers. And she's only closing one deal every month and a half, one sale every month and a half. We added it up and she's spending damn near 50, $60,000 to make that 80 grand in that year. She only profited about 20 grand, which is minimum wage. You might as well, you
Work
would
at
make
McDonald's.
money working at McDonald's. You
Hmm.
would. You would literally make
Yeah.
more money and spend less time. And she's doing this 10 hours a day, 8 hours a day, and she's making 20 grand, per
Wow.
year going after the buyers. And she was like, why is this happening to me? She's like, I saw your videos. I saw you were making, basically 50 grand a month. She's like, how are you doing that when I'm over here making, basically $5 an hour? That's what she break it down. She's making $5 an hour. It's not practical to be working with the buyers and sellers right now because you got to ask yourself, even if you're closing deals, how much money do you have to spend to close that deal?
There's
So
so much money.
dude, so for
So
you,
much.
let's find out then because you've made about $42,000 in the last few months from my rental system.
Hmm.
We have to say, how much you spent on the rental program. Everybody go to my website, richardrentals.com. You can check it out there. But I'll tell you this, it's not even close to what I mentioned before. Not even
No,
close.
no.
Um, how much are you spending per month in, because obviously I don't charge, for my program per month. How much are you spending in your expenses for real estate per month?
I mean, the ad spend, I probably do about $30 a week for like my ads. So 120.
20? Okay.
If I have a listing, I have to pay for the photographer. So it's 125. So per listing. So you usually have about 2 to 4 per month. Um, so that's, I don't know, 400 or so. So that's not too much
Okay.
for the, but
And this
I charge it back with the admin fee. So I'm going to get paid back from that. So it
is
kind of
true.
covers it.
That's true. I don't even think we counted your admin fee and your commission, but whatever.
No, we did not. We did
Yeah, we
not.
could add another few thousand to that anyway. So I guess that does pay for your expenses anyways.
Yeah,
Wow.
it covers the cost of the listing.
Wow. Okay. So this is interesting. So essentially, even if we, include the admin fee, maybe you made like $48,000 or something, or 45,000 in the
Yeah.
past few months. And if you divide that by how much you're actually spending, if you're only spending like $400 a month, let's see, let's just say 4 months. I know it's been less than
Yeah.
that, but just for, easy
Mhm.
sake here, that's about $1,600 in spend in business expenses. You spend about 1,600 bucks and you've made, well, we'll say with the admin fee about $45,000. Is that correct?
That's about right. It's probably pretty close. Because the admin fee is like 150, and it's like some of those are my listings, some of them are not. So it just depends on that. So probably like another 1,000 for the admin fee.
So what do you think you've
It's like
made total with the
42,
admin fee?
43. So 42, 43.
About 43,000, and you've spent how much?
Is that 4 months for doing 400? So 1,600.
So what's your profit after 4 months?
So that would be 39,000 or so.
You've profited about $39,000 in 4 months.
It's pretty crazy. Like
Wow.
when you do it this way, it just you save so much more money. Like finding tenants is not that hard. You don't have to spend much money for it. Like I also tried Google Ads too, which you could easily find tenants that way too. But why you don't have to spend that much money? It's a waste of money to do it that way. It's just so much easier to keep it in the Meta ecosystem. So it's just a cheaper way to find people than it is to find buyers and sellers. That's just you have to spend so much time with like mailers and cold calling and all the systems that come with cold calling. It's a lot of money. So with this route, you can actually do things a lot cheaper.
And you're winning constantly. Like think about it, right? Because you don't, like, you probably do remember in the beginning of your career you weren't closing, nearly this many deals, but how does it feel then now compared to the beginning of your career?
It's crazy because like some days, someone reaches out to you and then they want to see some apartment. And then say the apartment that they want to see has like a crazy commission that they're giving out. And they end up choosing that apartment because it's the best fit for them. We made $3,000 for like a half a quarter of a day's work. It's like, what? Back in my job, I would make a bonus like twice a year and like you'd only get like 3,000 for the bonus for like half a year's work. So it's like for 3 hours of work, you get the same amount for 6 months. It's kind of crazy.
Dude, that's wild. And honestly, you're not even in like one of the strongest markets. Like if you were in
No,
Dallas or Houston, it's even better there. You
it
get paid
is.
even more. So
Mhm.
like, dude, I mean, that just speaks to the volume of how well rentals work in this market now. And you know, I mean, you know this. I've been doing this for 5 years now. I did it during the pandemic. I did it during, you know, in the beginning it was a buyer's market, then it quickly switched over to a seller's market. And then in 2022, it kind of fell off to a neutral market. And then fast forward to 2024, it became a renter's market, heavy renter's market.
Yeah.
So I've been doing this making, you know, I made 80 grand my first year. I made 250 grand my second year. I made 510,000 my third year and been making about 5 to 600 per year after that. And I'll tell you this, but I've been working less. I've been working less
Yeah.
every single year, which is the
Hmm.
coolest part.
That is
I
so
work
true.
less time now than ever before because it's easier. So you can do this, like you've learned a skill right now that you can do in any market. It does not matter what happens in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. People are always going to need a place to rent. Is it going to be as easy in 10 years to work with renters? Maybe, maybe not. Is it going to still work? 100% guaranteed. You will still make, once you start getting in the swing of it, you're going to be making at least $10,000 per month because you're only doing this part time right now.
Yeah.
Fast forward 10 years later, you're going to be making significantly more than that because you're going to have a monstrous database and network. You're going to be closing tons of renters that will now buy homes from you. You're going to be getting sales and listings in 10 years from now because your buyers are going to turn into sellers. You're probably going to have a team of agents that they're doing your rentals for you. You're going to have an entire business where I'm assuming in 10 years you'll be making at least $2 million per year.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy. The scale that this affords you is so different than anything else because people will rent a home as well too, not just like every 5 years, but like sometimes in Austin, especially, people love moving here because they're, that's what they like to do. So every year you'll get people coming back to you for renting as well too. So you can really double down on the repeat sales and the repeat people because people move quite a bit.
Yeah, that's a really good point because not only are you going to get a ton of referrals, you're going to get
Hmm.
repeat renters. Even if they don't want to buy, guess what? They're going to use you to rent again. So if
Exactly.
you're, right, so if you're still
Hmm.
generating leads, like I teach every single day, you're getting leads coming in every day, and you're going to increase your volume of leads, so your deals will go up. You're also going to get repeat renters. You're going to get renters to turn to buyers. You're going to get buyers to turn to sellers. Your business just keeps going up and up and up and up and up and up every single year for the exact same amount of time invested. Actually, if you're like me, I'm telling you, I probably only work a couple hours a day in real estate, if that anymore. I
Yeah.
barely have to even try anymore because
Mhm.
of everything that we just talked about. Because I'm 5 years in, and it's not
Yeah.
even a buyer's market yet. I still tell people all the time, the bulk of my money from real estate has yet to come. Even though,
Yeah.
you know, I'm making 500-600 grand a year right now, barely even working.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this. Once I can convert, I've closed about 800 deals in my first 5 years. Actually, I think I'm probably over that by now.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
once I convert 30% of those, once this market switches, gee, I'm going to be bringing in two, three, $4 million per year off my renters, which is just
Crazy.
madness to think about that. So for the agents out there that are worried that, oh, you're only going to make 300 bucks per rental, look at Sam over here. He morphed that into getting his average up to 1500 per rental because in his market he's only getting paid 30%, sometimes he's getting paid less. And he morphed that because of everything that I taught, how to get rental listings, how to work with apartment complexes, how to do MLS properties. He got his average up even higher, even though in Austin, they're only getting paid about 3, 4, 500 bucks per rental. He's now making 1500 because I showed him there's a different path. And now he's turning renters into buyers. What about referrals? Have you gotten any referrals yet?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I've gotten referrals from people like either they're moving, I help them move, and then my partner, my boyfriend, my cousin, they're moving. He helped me help them find a place. And like what one right now that was a listing of mine. People moving in, like, oh, we actually have somebody who wants to move to the front unit of the property. So it's like, okay, if this one comes available, I can lease that one to that person. And it's like I don't have to do any work at all because they're so that'd be great. But yeah, it's referrals are the way to make this business work too, because if you do right by the client, they'll remember you and they're going to tell all their friends about you as like their realtor is super helpful And then you get so much business that way too.
100%. I literally get a referral almost every 2 days.
Wow.
Almost every 2 days,
Wow.
somebody is reaching
Mhm.
out to me saying that they need a rental or they want to buy or they want to sell. Because I probably have over 25,000 people in my database, which,
Wow.
and then I got like another 120,000 lead database that I have. It's honestly, it gets so fun. It gets so cool doing this. Everybody knows that, you're the rental expert and people come to you. And it's just it's a cool, good feeling when people appreciate the hard work and time that you're putting in and you get rewarded for it. So, Sam, this was honestly incredible. It really was. So I want to sum everything up here. So when you met me, what was your initial goal for life? What did you want to get out of signing up for my rental program?
I wanted to find a way to make more money than my 9 to 5, so I can actually get more time back and actually build something that's going to get me more money than like what a boss will tell you how much you deserve to make for a year. Give you that actual financial freedom or put you on that track. This has given me that path to get there, and I'm sure like going forward, it will definitely get me there, especially when we get to the summer months and our better time of our market. I'll definitely be like able to do more. Plus, now just part time, I can only target like a certain small portion of the city because I can't be driving all the way up to like the north side or the south side. So I'm really just in a small little portion of Austin. So once I'm full time, I can expand to the whole city, which will give me even more option where more people, more leads, more neighborhoods, and just so much more opportunity.
Doing this then part-time. Let's
Mhm.
just recap. How many deals, how much are you making? Everything you just said, doing this part-time now.
Average each month is about 7 grand is like the average for the winter months. And then doing about 4 to 5 deals with that. Just combination of apartments, rental houses, my own rental listings, and that's kind of how I get to that number. So like you said before, if you can combine all the things even within our niche, because there's different things within our niche too. If we can combine those things together, you can have a really good round income each month.
Honestly, incredible. That's all I ever want, for
Mhm.
any agent that I teach. I just want you guys to crush it. That's why I do the weekly coaching calls. That's how I even, heard about you doing well because I believe you thanked me at the end that you wanted to quit your part-time job, and I gave you a path to do that, just in a few months. So that's why I do this. That's why I want to help agents because I remember how it felt to be struggling. I was burning through all of my savings. I didn't have a path in life. I felt lost. I was confused. I didn't know what to do. Unfortunately, I didn't have anybody like me to guide me and teach me. I had to figure it out on my own. So it did take me a couple years to really get this down. But now I can get agents up to the point where it took me, over 10,000 hours of trial and error, blood, sweat, tears, sleepless nights, anxiety, and stress. Agents can skip all of that at this point. They can come directly to me. They can learn from somebody that's closed over 800 deals. I've made millions of dollars in net commission just by focusing on the renters. And now people can basically buy their time back from me. So if anybody that's listening right now wants more info, just go to my website. It's www.richardrentals.com. I'll drop it in the description below. And if anybody wants to book a call, if they have future questions, book a call with me and we can chat to see if this is a good fit for you. Sam, thank you so much for coming on. If you have any closing words to say for a newer struggling agent right now, what would it be?
I would say skip looking to buy and sell right off the bat. Just come to Andy. He'll set you up and you'll get started right away. Because I spent the first couple months trying to figure it out to myself and I wasted so much time. If I just go right to starting with Andy, I would have saved a lot of time. I can't say gas because I have a Tesla, but I would save a lot of gas driving around with people who had no interest in doing anything. So definitely go straight to Andy. He'll set you up. I'm still learning a lot of stuff from you as well too. Your calls each week are super helpful. They give me good advice to not do the bad things that aren't going to help or get people in. So yeah, definitely just go right to you and just get this thing started from the scratch. Don't waste time trying to figure it out yourself. Figure that out with Andy, and then you'll get there much faster.
Sam, thank you so much for coming on, and I'll catch everybody next time. Bye.
All right, take care.